My mother gave my daughter a $15 gift card at her birthday, then handed my niece a brand new laptop in the same room. The look on my daughter's face is something I will never forgive. My daughter is 9 years old and she already knows how to make her face do the thing. I recognized at the moment it happened because I had spent 20 years perfecting the same expression, the specific arrangement of features that communicates nothing is wrong when everything is wrong, that holds the surface completely still while something significant occurs underneath it. I had learned it young the way children learn things they need to survive their specific family, had refined it through years of birthday dinners and Christmas mornings and the particular recurring occasions that produced the recurring evidence of something I had been filing and managing and declining to name for the better part of my life. My daughter had learned it faster than I did. She was 9 and she already had it, and watching her use it was the moment the filing system closed permanently and I understood that I was done. The birthday party was on a Saturday afternoon in the specific cheerful chaos of a 9-year-old's celebration, the living room rearranged for the occasion, the cake Maisie had requested made the night before, the balloons her friend Cicely had helped her choose, the specific beloved disorder of 8 children occupying a space designed for fewer. My sister Renee was there with her daughter Poppy, who was 11, and my mother had arrived at 2 with the specific punctual presence of someone who understood that the occasion required attendance and had arranged attendance accordingly. The gift opening happened after the cake. Maisie sat in the designated chair, the one we put a ribbon on every year, and the gifts came to her one at a time the way they do at 9-year-old parties, each one an event, each one received with the specific transparent delight of a child who has not yet learned to moderate the expression of wanting. Her friends gave her things they had chosen with the particular earnest effort of children who understand that the gift selection is its own form of saying I know you, I thought about you, I picked this because it is yours. My mother's gift came near the end. Not because it was placed last deliberately. Because Maisie had been working through the pile in the specific order of a child who was savoring the occasion, and my mother's gift had been near the bottom of the arrangement on the table. Maisie unwrapped it. The gift card was in an envelope inside a small box, the box adding the architecture of something more substantial than what it contained. $15. A gift card to a general retail chain, the specific impersonal kind that communicates the giver did not think specifically about the recipient, that the decision was made quickly and without the particular consideration that a 9-year-old's birthday deserves. Maisie looked at it. She looked at it for the specific duration of a child processing a gap between what they hoped for and what they received and deciding what to do with their face in a room full of people. She did the thing. The surface went still. The features arranged themselves into the expression that said nothing is wrong. She said thank you grandma with the specific careful voice of the expression's verbal component, and she put the gift card down and she reached for the next gift. I watched her do it. I watched my 9-year-old daughter produce an expression it had taken me 20 years to learn, and I felt something arrive that I want to describe precisely. Not anger yet. Something before anger. The specific cold landing of a recognition. 40 minutes later my mother reached into the large bag she had brought and produced a wrapped package and handed it to Poppy. Poppy was at the party because Renee was at the party, and Poppy went where Renee went, and that was ordinary and fine. The gift to Poppy was not the occasion. The manner of it was the occasion. My mother handed it to her in the room. At Maisie's birthday party. In front of Maisie and Maisie's 8 friends and the adults and the balloons and the cake and the ribbon chair. Not privately, not in the hallway before leaving, not set aside for a separate occasion. In the room. With the specific visible presentation of someone who had brought 2 gifts to a birthday party and was distributing both. Poppy unwrapped it. The laptop was silver and new and still had the retail sticker on the box. I know what it cost because I looked it up afterward. $640. $640 for my niece in the same room where my daughter had received 15. Maisie was still in the ribbon chair. She watched Poppy receive the laptop with the same face she had used for the gift card, the arranged surface, the nothing is wrong expression, but something had shifted in it that I recognized because I had felt the shift myself 20 years ago, the specific moment when the expression stops being a response to a single instance and becomes the response to a pattern you have just understood fully for the first time. My daughter was 9 and she had just understood the pattern. I kept my own face during the remainder of the party because the remainder of the party belonged to Maisie and the 8 friends and the balloons and the chaos, and I was not going to give the afternoon over to what I was feeling. I served the second round of cake. I supervised the games. I said goodbye to 8 sets of parents with the specific warmth of a host who has genuinely enjoyed the occasion. Renee left first with Poppy and the laptop. My mother stayed to help with the cleanup, the specific domestic helpfulness of someone who understood that clearing away was a contribution and who provided it without reading the room she was clearing away in. Maisie went to her room when the last friend left. Not because she was upset, visibly. Because she was tired in the specific full way of a child who has hosted an occasion and used everything they had and needs quiet now. I went to check on her 20 minutes after the party ended. She was sitting on her bed with a gift card in her hand. Not crying. Looking at it. The specific examination of a child who is turning an object over in their mind and trying to make it mean something it may not mean. "Mom," she said. "Yes," I said. "Does Grandma like Poppy more than me?" she said. The question arrived with the specific directness of 9 years old, the age before the question gets complicated by the awareness of what the answer costs to give and receive. She asked it plainly because she was 9 and plain was the available register. I sat on the edge of her bed. I thought about what to say. Not the managed version, not the one that would smooth the question back into something comfortable and send her to sleep with a story that was easier than the truth. The version that was honest without being more than a 9-year-old needed to carry. "I think Grandma sometimes makes choices that are not fair," I said. "And the choices are not about you. They are about something in Grandma that she has not looked at." Maisie looked at the gift card. "That is not really an answer," she said. "No," I said. "It is not." "Does she know it is not fair?" she said. "I do not think she has thought about it carefully," I said. "You should tell her," she said. I looked at my daughter. At 9 years old with a gift card in her hand and the expression that had settled now that the room was just us, the face she used when the face she had learned was not required. "Yes," I said. "I should." "Will you?" she said. "Yes," I said. She put the gift card on her nightstand. She lay down and I covered her and I turned off the lamp and I sat in the dark of her room for a moment listening to her breathe. Then I went to find my mother. She was in the kitchen. The plates were stacked and the serving pieces were washed and the balloon debris had been collected into the corner, the specific competent aftermath of a woman who expressed love through the management of practical chaos. She looked up when I came in with the specific expression of someone who expects to be thanked for the stacking and the washing. "I need to talk to you," I said. She read something in my voice. The particular something that parents read in their children's voices when the register has shifted from ordinary to significant. "Sit down," I said. She sat. "I'm going to tell you what I watched happen today," I said. "And I need you to hear all of it before you respond." She looked at me. "Maisie received a $15 gift card," I said. "In the ribbon chair. At her birthday party. From her grandmother?" My mother said nothing. 40 minutes later you gave Poppy a laptop," I said. "In the same room. At Maisie's birthday party. In front of Maisie and her 8 friends. Poppy's birthday is next month," my mother said. "I brought it today because we were all together and—" "That is the explanation for the timing," I said. "I am not asking about the timing. I'm asking about the amount." She looked at the kitchen table. $15, I said. And $640. At the same party. Given within 40 minutes of each other. To your 2 granddaughters. I did not think. "That is the part I need you to hear," I said. "You did not think. You did not think about what Maisie would see and what Maisie would understand and what Maisie would do with her face when she understood it." My mother looked up. "She made her face do something," I said. "When she saw the laptop. She arranged her expression so that it would not show what she was feeling. She is 9 years old and she already knows how to do that." I watched my mother's face. "I know how to do it because I learned it in this family," I said. "I have been doing it for 20 years. And today I watched my daughter learn it and I am telling you that I am not willing for her to spend 20 years doing it the way I did." The kitchen was very quiet. "I love Maisie," my mother said. "I know you do," I said. "That is not the question. The question is why the love has a $15 expression when it lands on her and a $640 expression when it lands on Poppy. In the same room. On the same afternoon." She did not answer. "I need you to think about that question," I said. "Not tonight. But before the next occasion. Before the next birthday or Christmas or gathering where both girls are present. I need you to actually think about it, and I need the thinking to produce something different from what today produced." "I will do better," she said. The sentence of someone who has been told something and is reaching for the available response. "Tell me what better looks like," I said. She looked at her hands. "I need more than the intention," I said. "I need you to tell me what you are going to do differently because intentions without specifics produce the same outcome with better feelings attached." She looked at me for a long moment. The face of my mother, 64 years old, sitting at my kitchen table on the evening of her granddaughter's 9th birthday with the stacked plates and the washed serving pieces and the balloon debris in the corner. "I do not know why I do it," she said. "Not the managed version. The simple version. The specific sentence of someone who has received accurate information and does not yet have the answer but is no longer pretending the question does not exist." "That is the beginning," I said. "Figure it out. And while you are figuring it out, I need you to understand that what happens on the next occasion is going to determine what the occasions after that look like. I am not ending things. I am telling you clearly that the terms are changing. The terms, she said. Maisie will not sit in another ribbon chair and make that face, I said. That is the term. 1. If the next occasion produces what today produced, I will manage Maisie's exposure to those occasions. Not as a punishment. As a parent doing what parents do, which is protect their child from experiences that teach them to hide what they feel. My mother sat very still. I love you, I said. And I am telling you this because I love you and because I love Maisie and because the version of this that ends with Maisie spending 20 years learning to make her face do the thing is not a version I am willing to accept. 20 years, my mother said. Yes, I said. That is how long you have been doing it, she said. Yes, I said. She closed her eyes briefly. I did not know, she said. I made it possible not to know, I said. I am making it impossible now. I walked her to her car at 9:15. At the door she stopped and she turned and she looked at me with an expression I had not seen from her before. Not the managed version of contrition, the one that produces an apology and seeks closure. Something more open than that. Something that had not yet resolved into any particular feeling and was sitting with its own unresolution. I have some thinking to do, she said. Yes, I said. I'm going to do it, she said. I know, I said. I watched her taillights go down the street. Then I went inside and I sat in the kitchen with the stacked plates and the washed serving pieces and I thought about my daughter in her room with the gift card on the nightstand and the question she had asked. Does Grandma like Poppy more than me? I thought about the question for a long time. Then I thought about what came next. Maisie asked me about the gift card one more time. Not the following morning. 3 days later, on a Tuesday, in the specific unpredictable timing of children who process things on their own schedule and surface the processing when they are ready rather than when it is convenient. She was eating breakfast and she said, without looking up from her bowl, "Did you talk to Grandma?" "Yes," I said. "What did she say?" she said. "She said she had not thought about it carefully," I said. "And that she is going to think about it now." Maisie ate for a moment. "Do you think she actually will?" she said. The question of a 9-year-old who has already learned something about the difference between what people say and what they do. "I think she is trying to," I said. "Whether the trying produces something different is something we will see." "How will we see it?" she said. "The next occasion," I said. "We will see it then." She nodded. Finished her cereal. Put the bowl in the sink the way I had been teaching her to since she was 6. "Mom," she said. "Yes." "You do not have to make your face do the thing either," she said. "When Grandma does stuff, I can tell when you are doing it." I stood in my kitchen at 7:15 on a Tuesday morning and I looked at my 9-year-old daughter who had just told me she could read the expression I had spent 20 years building and I felt something shift in me in the specific way of things that have been load-bearing for a long time and are suddenly not required to bear the load anymore. "You are right," I said. "I do not." "Okay," she said. And she went to get her backpack. I called my friend Odette that afternoon. She had known me for 12 years and had, over those 12 years, been the person I talked to when I needed to say the true thing to someone who would not require me to manage their reaction. I told her about the party. The gift card and the laptop and the ribbon chair and Maisie's face. I told her about the kitchen conversation and my mother's I did not know why I do it. Odette listened all the way through. "What are you going to do?" she said. "Wait," I said. I told her the next occasion determines what comes after. I'm going to wait for the next occasion. "And Maisie," she said. "She told me this morning that she can tell when I am doing the face," I said. Odette was quiet for a moment. "She is 9, she said." "She is," I said. "And she is already watching you for the signs," she said. "Yes," I said. "That is the part that got to you," she said. "Not a question. She learned it from watching me do it," I said. "For 9 years she has been watching me make my face still at family occasions and she has learned it as the appropriate response. I taught her to hide what she feels." "You were protecting her," Odette said. "I was modeling concealment," I said. "There is a difference." Odette was quiet again. "The conversation with your mother," she said. "How did she seem when she left?" "Unsettled," I said. "In the specific way of someone who has been handed a question they do not have the answer to and cannot dismiss the question." "That is something," she said. "It is the beginning of something," I said. "Whether it becomes the something depends on what she does with the unsettled." My mother called my sister Renee the day after the party. I know this because Renee called me 4 days after the party, which was one day after my Tuesday breakfast with Maisie, and the call had the specific quality of someone who has received information and is deciding what to do with it. Mom called me, she said. I thought she might, I said. She told me about your conversation, Renee said. She told me what she gave the girls. Yes, I said. I did not know, Renee said. About the gift card. I was not paying attention to what Maisie received. I was dealing with Poppy and the other kids, and I did not see the $15. I believe you, I said. I am horrified, she said. The specific flat directness of a woman who had received accurate information and was not reaching for a managed response. You do not need to be horrified, I said. You did not make the choice. My daughter received a laptop at your daughter's birthday party, she said. In the same room. Yes, I said. Maisie saw it, she said. Yes, I said. What did her face do, she said. The question told me something about Renee, that she understood the specific language of faces in our family, that she had been reading the same expressions for the same number of years and had her own filing system and her own accumulated entries. She made it still, I said. Renee exhaled. I know that face, she said. Yes, I said. What do you need from me, she said. Nothing specific, I said. I have said what I needed to say to Mom. The next occasion will tell me what the conversation produced. I want to do something, she said. For Maisie. You do not need to compensate, I said. That is not the point. I know it is not the point, she said. But Poppy wants to. She has been asking since we got home. She wants Maisie to come over. She wants to show her the laptop and let her use it. I sat with that. Poppy was 11 and she had not made the choice and she had not been in the ribbon chair and she was asking if Maisie could come over to use the laptop. Let me ask Maisie, I said. Maisie said yes immediately. She came home from Renee's 3 hours later with the specific glowing quality of a child who has spent an afternoon with an older girl who made her feel completely included and who had showed her everything on the laptop with the specific generous attention of an 11-year-old who understood, in the way that children sometimes understand things, that something needed to be made right and had decided to make it right in the only way available to her. Poppy is really nice, Maisie said. Yes, I said. She is. She said we could do it again next weekend, she said. Would you like that, I said. Yes, she said. The next occasion was Christmas. 6 weeks after the birthday party. The gathering at my parents' house, the specific annual configuration of the family that my parents had produced, their children and the children's children, the occasion that had the longest history of the occasions and therefore the longest history of entries in the filing system. I had told my mother the terms. The next occasion determines what comes after. I did not tell Maisie to watch for anything. I did not prime her or prepare her or introduce the occasion with any frame that would make her approach it as a test rather than a Christmas. I let it be a Christmas and I watched. My mother had wrapped gifts for both girls and placed them under the tree in the specific careful arrangement of someone who had thought about placement, about visibility, about what the arrangement communicated. The gifts were opened in the family rotation, the long-established order that moved around the room. Maisie's gift from my mother was a set of art supplies. The specific kind, the professional-grade watercolors and the good brushes and the thick paper that Maisie had been asking about for 6 months, the kind I had told her were for when she was a bit older and more practiced. My mother had listened to something, at some point, and had heard the asking. Poppy's gift was a book series she had mentioned wanting. I did not calculate the dollar values. I did not need to. The values were not the point. The point was the attention. The specific evidence of someone who had heard what each child wanted and had provided the thing that was specifically theirs. Maisie opened the watercolors and her face did something I had not seen it do at a family occasion in long enough that the seeing of it felt like something being returned. It did the thing faces do when children receive the specific thing they wanted from the specific person they were not certain would provide it. It was completely open. No arrangement. No stillness. Just the full unmanaged expression of a 9-year-old who had been seen. My mother was watching her. I was watching my mother watch her. After the gifts, my mother came to sit next to me on the couch and we sat together in the specific comfortable parallel of two people who have had the hard conversation and are on the other side of it. She liked it, my mother said. Quietly. Yes, I said. I called the art teacher, she said. At Maisie's school. I asked what she was working on and what she needed. I looked at my mother. I did not know how to figure out what she wanted, she said. I have been realizing that I have not been paying attention in the right direction for a long time and I did not know how to start. So I called the teacher. I sat with that. The specific image of my 64-year-old mother calling a primary school art teacher to find out what her granddaughter was working on. That is more than I expected, I said. I had a lot of thinking to do, she said. I did it. I can see that, I said. She looked at Maisie across the room, who was already opening the watercolor tin and examining the individual colors with the specific absorbed attention of a child who has received the exactly right thing. I have favorites, my mother said. I have had favorites in this family for a long time. I did not examine it because examining it required me to see something I did not want to see about myself. What did you see? I said. That I repeat things, she said. Patterns from my own family. My mother had favorites and I watched her express it for my whole childhood, and I told myself I would not do it, and I did it anyway because I never examined the mechanism. I just let it run. You are examining it now, I said. I'm in therapy, she said. Since 3 weeks ago. I did not tell you because I was not certain I would continue. I have continued. I looked at my mother. 64 years old in therapy 3 weeks after a kitchen conversation about a $15 gift card and a $640 laptop. What made you go? I said. The face, she said. You described Maisie's face and I recognized it. I had seen it before and I had not let myself understand what it meant. She paused. I recognized it because I learned it in my mother's house. And I understood that I had been producing it in yours. The room had the specific warm noise of a family Christmas, children and adults, and the particular acoustic texture of people who know each other well enough to speak at the same time without losing the thread. Maisie looked up from the watercolor tin and found me across the room, and her face had the open expression, the unmanaged one, and she held it up to show me a specific blue, the particular shade she had been looking for, and I held up my hand in the specific gesture that meant yes, that one, exactly that one. She went back to the tin. I sat next to my mother on the couch. We did not say anything for a while. The not saying anything was its own kind of communication, the specific comfortable parallel of two people who have had the hard conversation and are sitting in what it produced. The art teacher said she has real talent, my mother said eventually. I know, I said. She said the watercolors would make a difference, she said. They will, I said. Good, she said. That was Christmas? What has come after Christmas has been the specific slow work of a family that has looked at something and is doing something with the looking. Not quickly. Not cleanly. In the patient way of structures being reinforced rather than demolished. My mother's therapy is ongoing. She does not tell me the details. She tells me enough for me to understand that the examining is happening and that it is producing things she did not expect to find and that she is staying with it. Maisie uses the watercolors every week. She has produced 17 paintings since Christmas. She photographed the best ones and made a little book of them and gave it to my mother in March, on her own initiative, without my suggestion. My mother called me after she received it. She said, "She made this for me." Yes, I said. She did not have to, she said. No, I said. Why did she said. Because she is 9, I said. And 9-year-olds give things to the people they love when the people they love see them. My mother was quiet for a moment. She sees me now, she said. She always did, I said. She was waiting for you to see her back. Here is what I want to say to every parent who has watched their child make their face do the thing. Your child is not protecting themselves. They are protecting you. They are arranging their expression so that you do not have to see what your choices produced in them. They are doing this because they love you and because they learned that love in this family sometimes requires the management of one's own face. They should not have to manage their faces. They should be 9 years old with watercolor-stained fingers and completely open expressions and no knowledge yet of the specific arrangement that hides what you feel from the person who was supposed to see you. Name what you see. Not for your sake. Not even for yours. For the specific 9-year-old in the ribbon chair who is performing nothing is wrong while they learn what is wrong. Have the kitchen conversation. Use the specific words. The dollar amounts. The timing. The face. Make it impossible to not know. And then wait for the next occasion. The next occasion tells you everything. What it told me was a 64-year-old woman calling a primary school art teacher because she did not know how else to start paying attention in the right direction. It told me professional-grade watercolors under a Christmas tree. It told me a 9-year-old with a completely open face holding up a specific blue. That blue. Exactly that one. That is what comes after the kitchen conversation. That specific blue. It was worth every word.